Let's take a look at this problem. Now solve this system equation using matrices. So I got 7x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to 6. 8x minus y is equal to 17. 6x minus y minus 5z is equal to 23. And let me double check all my signs and numbers, and that'll look right. So let's write down the matrix goes along with this. We'll drop our x, y, z's and equals, keep the numbers in our signs. So I got 7, 2, 3, 6, 8, negative 1. We're missing the z, so I put a 0 there. 17. 6, negative 1, negative 5, and 23. Again, let me just do a quick check on my signs. That looks good. Okay. We're going to be doing Gaussian Jordan elimination. And so we start with our first position here, and we want a 1 there. We're going to work at getting 1s on our diagonal and 0s below it. So on this one, I asked myself, what can I divide this first row by to get a 1 here? So, well, if I divide by 7. So row 1 divided by 7 gives us our new row 1. Okay. And I'm getting my calculator handy here in my hand because I know I'll be needing it in this problem. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 2 divided by 7 is 2 sevenths. 3 divided by 7 is 3 sevenths. 6 divided by 7 is 6 sevenths. And these will carry down. There we go. Now what we do is we get a 1 in that position, and then we work at getting 0s below it. So you ask yourself, what do you multiply times this 1 that you can then add to the 8 to get a 0 here? Well, you can do negative 8. So negative 8 times row 1 and add that to row 2 gives you your new row 2. It'll always be the opposite number. So if this is a positive 8, it'll be a negative 8. Let's see, 1, 2 sevenths, 3 sevenths, and 6 sevenths. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And this is what I'm plugging in my calculator. I'm going to take negative 8 times 2 sevenths and then I add the negative 1. So negative 8 times 2 sevenths, and then I'll add the negative 1. And when you get decimals, you do math, inner. And that gives us negative 23 sevenths. Now we're going to take negative 8 times 3 sevenths and add to 0. And I probably almost do that one in my head. Negative 24 sevenths. Probably the one I'll mess up on. I'll have to redo the problem. Now I'm going to take negative 8 times 6 sevenths and add to 17. So negative 8 times 6 sevenths and I'll add to 17. Calculator is invaluable for this. Math, inner. 71 sevenths. Okay, now we want to get a 0 here. So we ask ourselves, what do we multiply by the first row, specifically this 1, that we can then add to the 6 to get a 0 here? Well, negative 6. Remember, it's always opposite number. So negative 6 times row 1 and add that to row 3 gives us our new row 3. Well, negative 6 times 1 is negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Now we're going to take negative 6 times 2 sevenths and add the negative 1. So negative 6 times 2 sevenths and add the negative 1. I'll do math, inner, and we get negative 19 sevenths. Now we're going to take negative 6 times 3 sevenths and then add the negative 5. So negative 6 times 3 sevenths, add the negative 5, then math, inner. Negative 53 sevenths. Okay, now we'll take negative 6 times 6/7 and add 23. So negative 6 times 6/7 and add 23. Then math, enter, and we get 125 over 7. Now we're going to be working at getting a 1 here. Because we're working our way down diagonal. Get a 1 here, zeros below it. We'll get a 1 here, zeros below it. We'll get a 1 here, and then zeros below it, but there is nothing below it. But first thing I notice is that these all have the same denominator, and these all have the same denominator. So I can simplify my life a little bit by multiplying both of these rows by 7. So I'll take, let's try it again. Take 7 times row 2 is going to give us our new row 2. And 7 times row 3 is going to give us our new row 3. Now, even though I'm using the calculator to do the fraction part, to do the basic math, it still doesn't hurt to actually make it a little bit simpler. Okay, so we've got 1, 2 sevenths, 3 sevenths, 6 sevenths. Multiply everything here by 7. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times negative 23 sevenths is negative 23. 7 times negative 24 sevenths is negative 24. 7 times 71 sevenths is 71. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times negative 17 sevenths is negative 19. 7 times negative 53 sevenths is negative 53. 7 times 125 sevenths gives us 125. Okay. Remember our goal. We want to get a 1 here. So we're going to divide everything in that row by negative 23. So I'll take row 2 divided by negative 23, and that's going to give me my new row 2. Okay, so I got 1, 2 sevenths, 3 sevenths, 6 sevenths. 0 divided by negative 23 is 0. Negative 23 divided by negative 23 is 1. Negative 24 divided by negative 23, negative divided by negative is positive, so that's 24 over 23. 71 divided by negative 23, I'm assuming it doesn't work out nice, but let me try it. My calculator. Nope, doesn't come out nice. So just done is negative 71 over 23. And then I got 0, negative 19, negative 53, 125. Okay, so we got our 1 here. Now we want to get zeros below it. And you ask yourself, what do you multiply times this 1 that you can then add to this negative 19 and give you a 0? Well, it'll be a positive 19. Remember, it's always opposite number. So 19 times row 2, and we'll add that to row 3, and that's going to give us our new row 3. Okay, so we got 1, 2 sevenths, 3 sevenths, 6 sevenths, 0, 1, 24 over 23, negative 71 over 23. Okay, 19 times 0, 0 plus 0, 0. 19 times 1 is 19 plus negative 19 is 0. 19 times 24 over 23 plus negative 53. So let me do it on my calculator. 19 times 24 divided by 23, and then plus negative 53. Then math, enter. And I get negative 763 over 23. And then I'll take 19 times negative 71 over 23 plus 125. So 19 times negative 71 over 23. And then I'll add the 125. Then math, enter. And I get 1,526 over 23. Okay, now we're working our way down the diagonal. So now I want to get a 1 here. Well, first off, I noticed that I can multiply everything in this row by 23 to make it a little bit easier. So take 23 times row 3, and that's going to give me my new row 3. Okay, so I got 1, 2 7s, 3 7s, 6 7s, 0, 1, 24 over 23, negative 71 over 23. 0 or 23 times 0, 0. 23 times 0, 0. 23 times negative 763 over 23 is negative 763. And 23 times 1,526 over 23 is 1,526. Now again, our goal, remember, is to get a 1 here. Well, now I can divide everything in row 3 by negative 763. And that's going to give us our new row 3. So the first row remains as is, second row remains as is. Zero divided by negative 763 is 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. Negative 763 divided by negative 763 is 1. And hopefully this works out nice. 1526 divided by negative 763, negative 2. Now, poor planning here. I'm going to need to find me a piece of paper to write down this so I can continue it. At the top, let's see, what do we have? 1, 2 7s, 3 7s, 6 7s, 0, 1, 24 23rds, negative 71 over 23, 0, 0, 1, negative 2. Okay, so let me continue the problem up here. So we write down what I have currently. I have 1, 2 7s, 3 7s, 6 7s, 0, 1, 24 over 23, negative 71 over 23, and 0, 0, 1, negative 2. Now this is row echelon form. We got a diagonal 1, zeros below it. We're going to do the full Gaussian-Jordan elimination here, which is a reduced row echelon form. So now I'm going to work my way back up, starting with this first 1 here, and then I'm going back up the diagonal. I'm going to, of course, it's already got a 1 there. I'm going to get zeros above it. So that's my goal. I want to see if I get zeros here. Well, you ask yourself, what times the 1 can you then add to 24 over 23 and give you a 0 here? And it's always opposite number. So we'll take negative 24 over 23 times row 3. We'll add that to row 2, and that's going to give us our new row 2. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, negative 2. Negative 24 over 23 times 0 is 0 plus 0, 0. Negative 24 over 23 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 24 over 23 times 1 is negative 24 over 23 plus 24 over 23 is 0. Negative 24 over 23 times negative 2 plus negative 71 over 23, I have no clue. Let's see. Negative 24 divided by 23 times negative 2, and then add negative 71 divided by 23. Now let me double check myself here. It's getting even kind of complex for the entering in the calculator. Oh, that's nice. Gives us negative 1. Okay, now we want to get a 0 here. So we ask ourselves, what times this 1 can we then add to this 3 7ths to give us a 0? Well, it'll be negative 3 7ths. Remember, it's always opposite number from this. So negative 3 7ths times row 3, and we'll add that to row 1 to give us our new row 1. Okay, negative 3 7ths times 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 3 sevenths times 0 is 0 plus 2 sevenths is 2 sevenths. Negative 3 sevenths times 1 is negative 3 sevenths plus 3 sevenths is 0. Ooh, wait a minute. Multiply times right row. Let me double check myself here. I think I screwed up. Okay, negative 3 sevenths times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 3 sevenths times 0 is 0 plus 2 sevenths 2 sevenths. Negative 3 sevenths times 1 is negative 3 sevenths. Okay, now I'm fine. About screwed up though. Negative 3 sevenths times negative 2 I think is 6 sevenths plus 6 sevenths is 12 sevenths. But let me plug that in the calculator because I'm not feeling comfortable. Negative 3 sevenths times negative 2. And then I'll add 6 sevenths. Math, enter. 12 sevenths. Okay, so we got a 1 here, zeros above it. Now we already have a 1 here, we want to get zeros above it. So you ask yourself, what do you multiply times this 1 that you can then add to this 2 sevenths to get a 0 there? It'd be negative 2 sevenths. So we'll take negative 2 sevenths. Let me undo that. There we go. Negative 2 sevenths times row 2, and we'll add that to row 1 to give us our new row 1. Okay, so we got 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 1, 0, negative 1. Negative 2 sevenths times 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 2 sevenths times 0, 0 plus 2 sevenths is 0. Negative 2 sevenths times 1 is, wait, multiplying times second row. Okay, negative 2 sevenths times 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 2 sevenths times 1 is negative 2 sevenths plus 2 sevenths is 0. Negative 2 sevenths times 0, 0 plus 0, 0. Negative 2 sevenths times negative 1 is positive 2 sevenths plus 12 sevenths is 14 sevenths or 2. Let me just double check that real quick with one of the problems here. 2, okay, that'd be 16 minus a negative, okay. Now, this is REF, reduced row echelon form. Diagonal 1, zeros above it, zeros below it. 3 equations, 3 variables. If you have that form, diagonal 1, zeros above it, zeros below it, that means it worked. And these will be your answers. This will be x, this will be y, and this will be z. So our answers for this problem are 2, negative 1, and negative 2.